if you look at from the border industry all the way to taxis and buses, a lot of these or businesses either employ youth or are owned by youth, and I think there's a big role that plays into job creation for the youth through one of these avenues, which is the transport sector.
The name Kacyber, I hope it sounds very inspiring.
It has been inspiring, it has been educative, it has helped us in our professional growth because we get to not just work on electric vehicles, but we get to lead a team as well.
It's that point of seeing through actual examples of startups or of companies that have leveraged tech and the kind of productivity it's driven or the creation of new roles in various institutions.
I think 10 years from now, you'll be able to see more competitive talent that can compete globally. And also that's exciting because that also influences the solutions that come out of Africa and Ghana as a whole.
On a personal level, before joining Microsoft, I've also invested or dealt with the startups before, and I've also engaged with startups before as they were clients when I was in banking. And what became interesting was seeing a number of startups that were tech-enabled, and then those that are actually fully tech, and the growth that they were going through. So that became interesting for me because it made me realize that tech could actually be a very good platform for driving transformation in Africa, again, to meet the potential of what Africa can deliver to Africans, but also beyond Africa.
My name is George Apia. I am currently the co-founder and also CEO for Solar Taxi. Solar Taxi is an e-mobility company which we locally design and assemble electric vehicles, including electric cars, electric bikes, bicycles. So the solar stands for the clean energy. The taxi, what people know, is a car or it's a vehicle, right? So people can connect that. So you have the solar, clean, and a taxi, a vehicle. So for us, it was about just making a connection for people to know that, oh, this vehicle, that is what it's about. Our target is clear. We are targeting the African, and we are looking at providing African with a mobility option to move from point A to point B in the most affordable and clean manner. We just got our license from the government to be the first local automobile assembler for electric vehicles. So it's a big one for us. So we are started working on our assembly plant, which we are looking at completing soon to commission that. For us, I think it has been quite an interesting path. It's challenging, of course. It has been challenging also. Trying to lay down the path when there's no path is a very difficult challenge. So every single time you come to work, it's a day to create something new. Every single day. Even to have our parts come in, the vehicles come in at the port, clearing the parts, was difficult. If I tell them, oh, the car doesn't have an engine, then they were like, what? No, every car has an engine. And you look at their forms and all the documents they use, they need to indicate the engine capacity. And I'm telling them this car doesn't have an engine. I think the average age of the team will be about 24, if I'm not mistaken. For some of us, this happened to be our first job after school. So the passion is there, the commitment in learning something on them. We have a Female Engineering Academy where we are training women specifically to join our engineering team. So far, so good. We are planning of scaling that up and increasing the impact of that up. So we are providing the full value chain from design, assembling, maintenance of these vehicles. I think it's something that we believe that this is the way to go. We always believe that this could not just be a way of we just following the world, but potentially Africa can get to lead the world. It's a unique path towards increasing mobility in Africa, and that's why we are taking that. That's why we are trying to lead in that space.
I went through the process of FEA, a Female Engineering Academy. So I saw the flyers on LinkedIn, I applied. So through the academy, I then interned for 3 months. Then after that, with the recommendation of my supervisor, I was employed as a staff. So I've been doing this for a little over 2 years now.
The car maintenance lead for Solar Taxi. I've been here, let's say 2 years now. So I did my NSS with Solar Taxi, and then I was employed as a staff. And I think 3 months later, I became the car maintenance lead.
It has been inspiring, it has been educative, it has helped us in our professional growth, because we get to not just work on electric vehicles, but we get to lead a team as well. And as ladies, we give thanks to our CEO, who is doing a lot of women empowerment here. So you see 80% of the engineers here being ladies. So we become like role models to the young lady out there to also know that she can also venture into this industry that we find ourselves in.
From the very start, I was skeptical that it's even possible in the country. To be frank, when I joined and I was given a first chance to drive an electric car, I mean, I was just blown away that this is happening right here in Accra. And it's been in operation for almost 2 years before I even got to know about it. So I was excited and like, okay, we are going to, through the work I'm going to do, we are going to also disseminate the education about electric cars to the general public. And it's one of the things that really moved me and motivated me that, you know what, if you're able to get this thing done, it's going to get down to the masses and people are going to buy into the idea. As a country, we are all trying to solve a lot of unemployment issues. So we also feel if we enter in the career business, we can be able to solve a lot of unemployment issues. So the bikes came in to solve 2 issues, to solve transportation issues and also to create employment for the youth. So we operate the career business, we operate the delivery business all in one. I mean, we are practically operating as a logistics company at this point in time.
I've been here for like 3 years and 8 months. I started with Solar Taxi. The experience has been amazing from, let's say, from grass to grace. I came in with no experience in software development, but Solar Taxi gave the opportunity for me to grow myself, not just with the development of application, but as time progressed, I was given other roles like becoming the product owner, product manager, managing the projects, the software development projects from conception to the completion, managing the team. And that has helped me to go to a level that I now find myself in the position as a CTO for software and digital platforms. What it makes it nice to work is that it gives you the opportunity. You have the free will to research in anything and you bring out your ideas and no one throws it in the bin. It's been looked at and to see whether it can work for Solar Taxi.
Solar Taxi gives us a platform to not just try to be theoretical engineers, but to be practical engineers. So here, you do a lot of research. You do not just sit down, because obviously you don't just go to Google and then put in, oh, maybe the car is not working, the bike is not working, and then you get answers. You have to sit down and then apply what you've learned in school, try to put 1 and 2 together. So it's challenging from the start, but you realize as time goes on and you get familiar with the components, you get familiar with the schematics of the car and then the bike, you rather have fun than find it to be challenging when you are doing troubleshooting and the maintenance on the vehicles. So
we are operating several models. I mean, one of the models we are operating is if you want to own the bike, you can walk in, you make a deposit, at least to own, then we spread it across and you take it to. Then you are also operating a model where you can come in, where you want to work under our umbrella. We agree on how you can earn up to 1,000 cedis a month working for us, because we can attach you to a restaurant where you work and we agree on a daily rate for you to earn that amount. And you're also another model where you can come in and rent the bikes for a day, use it to go and work, then you pay us per the day too.
The electric bike is faster and it saves you a whole lot of money, because sometimes the bikes which use the petrol or whatever it is, sometimes it will come to a time yourself you don't have even money to buy fuel and those things. Because of that, you can't move the bike. But electricity, we normally use electricity in the house. So no matter what happens, you have electricity in the this thing. So we normally charge the bike, and the number of hours and the unit use is lesser than maybe buying fuel and whatsoever.
We also have a partnership with Google. So Google is providing us with cloud services support. So about $10,000 support for us not to be paying for our cloud services. We are getting a discount on our staff email subscription, discount on that. We are planning on expanding around our US partnership though, but for Google's support, it has been very, very, very timely and helpful. Personally, I've had a certain notion about how the ecosystem should develop. The stage that we find ourselves, there are things that are fundamental to be addressed before you can build other things on easily. The ecosystem is yet to mature to a certain level, and there's something that has to be priority and should be addressed first before we look at other things on. Investment can direct where the focus of an ecosystem should be. It is obvious, and especially when the ecosystem is not so mature, we don't have a lot of funding sources. So it's just like dropping in a drop acquisition, something big tech, people just build for big tech. So the person not looking at a problem that can really impact life, but a problem building something that I can sell to Google or Meta or Apple. That is why the person is building their product. It's that part of, and even on the policy side, they tend to be more listened to by our governments than we on the ground sometimes. So if Meta comes in or Google comes in, or you have Twitter, they'll get audience. Right? It's good. It's not bad. They get an audience, but sometimes a young startup, I mean, we get audience. So I'm not saying that we don't get any form of audience. We do get audience. But for a number of young startups, perhaps not everybody will get that kind of attention and audience on.
I see a bigger opportunity, a bigger market size, because we are bringing in transport service that has low cost of operations, and that makes it a promising place to be. It's a promising business.
We want to have that dominance in Africa and making Ghana the point of reference that we're one of the first people to break the frontiers in e-mobility. So that is one of the key things that I think as a company we are striving for. We want to solve employment issues. We want to be part of the climate conversation that's happening right now. And we want to be able to be the pioneers and the deal breakers when it comes to e-mobility in Africa.
I think so far we have been able to create a belief. People believe that this is possible. And that has led to us seeing even other people come into the sector or want to come into the sector. The belief that we have created. If this doesn't work, I hope it doesn't affect the belief that this is possible. We know the market that we are after. We are very meticulous about it and putting the hard work and maintaining the vision and ensuring that we can get there. But even if it doesn't work, we have made a statement about that it's possible to go green in Africa.
In times of change, when the world seems uncertain and what we hear doesn't reflect what we see, we seek the truth. When we are told only part of the story, we lose trust. In moments of crisis, our dreams, hopes, and wishes for a better tomorrow depends on a free press. At Voice of America, we bring you the stories that people take risks to see. We connect the world and unite it with truth. At Voice of America, we show you the whole picture.
My name is Innocent Olicheza. I'm the CEO and founder at Kacyber Technologies, where we are building digital ticketing systems for public transport in Africa. We are very inspired by the potential of how this industry can be transformed from being informal to a formal one. The name Kacyber, I hope it sounds very inspiring.
The use of this technology far outweighs any other. It's digital. We can verify our purchases and know the sale and the transaction is legitimate. The platform also provides pre-negotiated fares and you are assured of a ticket and safe travel. Let's modernize and adopt these new ways of life. It's more than a bus ticket, but more like an assurance that you are well organized.
The African continent is one of the areas in the whole world that is developing at an exponential speed. We know that our future cities will be very populous with large numbers of people coming in and out. So we also know that if we don't have the infrastructure in place and the tools, it will keep chaotic as it is now because the manual processes can't handle the situation, especially in public transport.
Kacyber has helped us reduce unnecessary jobs. There's less theft and we get monthly reports so we can see how well we are doing as a bus company. I encourage everyone to make a purchase this way. It just works well.
Big tech has been the reason why we can innovate largely. Yeah, we depend on infrastructure for Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, and Google, for example. There are a lot of things, especially for Amazon, who hosts our core ticketing and payment processing system, and Google, who give us the platforms to deliver the apps to external markets. Yeah, Android, for example, can't avoid it. Our product is web-based, Android-based, and we leverage Google's services in a lot of ways. Facebook, before it was shut down in Uganda, we used it to reach out to our potential customers. Interestingly is that we already been using AI for the past 7 months. So it's definitely very beneficial. We've seen direct benefits in making our processes a bit faster and visualizing data. We actually want to extend that AI to the common user that we serve. They may not realize that it's AI, but the next ticket you book in 3 months, the decision for how the process works for you will be optimized by AI. Africa is embedded in our ultimate vision.
Majority of the transport space is managed by, owned, operated by the youth. We have a lot of, if you look at from the border industry, all the way to taxis and buses, a lot of these businesses either employ youth or are owned by youth, and I think there's a big role that plays into job creation for the youth through one of these avenues, which is the transport sector. I see untapped opportunity, and I also see a lot of new players coming into the space, and so they would have first mover advantage should they decide to come in, and that's something that nobody should take disadvantage of. You compare it to things like mobile money that in other countries was unheard of, but has been successful in a lot of East African countries. And so big tech should definitely take advantage of this space when they still can.
The good thing with what we do is that we serve all generations, from young to aged groups. The generation that is 80% of our country, for example, they are under 30 years. And the solutions we provide, they are already interfacing with them. They're already interfacing with the technologies that we use. They may not be aware, but we are leveraging big tech to deliver this solution to a large audience. And we think also some of the companies like Google and Microsoft have started coming to support the educational system, meaning they're tapping into young generation at an early stage. And that will promote even more innovations for the future.
What you're trying to do with the Africa Transformation Office with startups is to empower 10,000 startups over the next 5 years. We are looking at focus on B2B startups, startups that are born on the cloud. And you're looking at various industries. We're looking at fintech, health tech, ed tech, and also logistics. Just given the African continent in the way it is, getting the right solutions for logistics and opening up the borders, increasing trade and flow of goods and services becomes something of a big challenge, but a big opportunity for startups to actually look at.
Oh, okay. Should I look in the camera or should I look at you? My name is Desmond Connie. I'm the founder and CEO of Complete Pharma. What inspires me? So I think I work with a collective of diverse people with different energies, trying to solve the same problem. So it's very inspiring to see young people from multidisciplinary backgrounds applying their skills to solve a problem that is bigger than them. Complete Pharma is a digital marketplace platform that helps global commodity buyers to effectively build their supply chains and source for agricultural commodities directly from African farmers. Ghana in Africa needs our company because for a long time we've heard that Africa is the breadbasket of the world. Yet that saying hasn't been realized, and I think Complete Pharma is a company that allows us to realize that statement by being able to make African agriculture and supply chain more resilient and efficient to feed the world. And I believe in doing so, we are able to develop the continent. We are able to provide meaningful work to the youth, to farmers, and also bring some good hard currency back onto the continent as well. Tech in general has seen an uplift in Ghana, and I think what this big tech has been able to do is to build technologies that enable people to then build on top of those technologies. So I think you've seen different frameworks come up, we've seen different training courses come up because of that. And because of the job opportunities big tech creates, it's enabled people to pick up the skills. And you are beginning to see the effect of that in Ghana. I think 10 years from now, you'll be able to see more competitive talent that can compete globally. And also that's exciting because that also influences the solutions that come out of Africa and Ghana as a whole. You start seeing talents that are applying like the big data technologies, AI, machine learning technologies, to be able to solve big problems on the continent. So I think that has been the good influence that big tech has had in Ghana. So I'll say in more indirect ways, we've been able to leverage on some technologies and framework, and also use some of the systems that some of these big tech companies bring to be able to deploy our technology. And I think by nature of how technology is built, it's always built on top of other technology. So I think some of these have been very instrumental to what we've built. Our cloud architecture, for instance, is on Amazon AWS, and it's been something that has allowed us to really deploy robust solution, both across like rural communities and cities as well. So it's been a big indirect boost to us to build this solution. We've had AWS Activate, which is the server architecture that we deploy our solutions on. And also, I'd say training. I think a lot of our developers and engineers always upskill on some of the platforms that these big tech companies have done. So You have like developer hangouts, developer circles, or boot camps that helps upskill developers to be able to use the newest technologies that some of these companies come up with. And that in turn helps us to also deploy competitive solutions as well. So I'd like to mention those two, but there are other technologies that have been created through the use of AI as well. I think it's been some big tech companies have made it easy for startups to be able to adopt technologies like AI, IoT into the solutions that they are building as well. So basically, AI, we employ a lot of AI in the solution that we build, and I think it really helps in making effective decisions for farmers by being able to carve or process different sources of data to then inform what they then need to do. It's something that really helps in how we deliver the service. So I think AI in general, and even as a business, the way we analyze our markets, the way we know how to target value chains of where farmers are, it really improves like the processes as well. And it leaves a lot of room for people to also be more creative, because you take out the routine tasks that people would have to do, and people can then start thinking more creatively and strategically as well. So I think the presence of big tech in Africa really has helped us to develop our products in a sense that it's also allowed us to think wider in terms of how we can position our solution to farmers. We've been able to answer questions like how we use AI to optimize the yield of farmers, how we use IoT to be able to monitor and track the performance of farms in different locations as well. So it's really it's really helped us to build a more competitive product as well. I say the vision of Complete Farmer is like Amazon for African agriculture. So Complete Farmer wants to become that company that really creates a platform that really makes farmers accessible to the world. Whether you are a commodity trader, whether you are a buyer, a processor, an FMCG, or a market woman, you should be able to, or even a family that needs food, you should be able to get the food and the raw materials you need from the Complete Farmer platform. And what we are doing is to build the infrastructure to enable this. So we are not just enabling farmers, we are building fulfillment centers, we are doing research in agronomy, and we are building a platform that really solves these key issues across the supply chain to realize that vision.